matter about that. What the point of it is that we all have free will. We were all given that from the beginning of our lives. We have free
from
will.
birth.
Right.
Inalienable rights, that
Yeah.
Right.
being alive, being a living entity, we automatically have the inalienable rights: freedom of speech, freedom of pursuit of happiness, freedom of religion, freedom of travel. We have those as soon as we draw breath. Oh, here we go. I'll shut up now.
No, no, that's absolutely agreed. You
Yeah.
know, and that was a point that I had to make the other day to somebody, was that we, from that first breath, you have the free will, and what you do with it is all up to you. I mean, yes, we've got speed bumps and hurdles, and that's all I can say. I mean, from there, it's what you can get over. Tom, it's your show. Let her rip, dude.
Well, absolutely. It really, that's exactly what it is. We are given free will. So I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know what that is, but uh, can you hear that?
I'm not hearing any feedback, but I'm about to go mobile.
Okay, I'm getting feedback. Hold on a second. Let me do something. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm not hearing it anymore. Okay. So here's the deal, though. Really, what it is that we are given free will, so we can do what we want, right? So we do whatever we want, but
Unless you're
in
a
this
father.
world,
If you're a father, then if the boy pukes up, you better clean it up, which I just had to do. So,
right? And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. But we have free will, though, that we can do anything we want to do. So if we want to go out and do something bad, we can do something bad. If we want to do something good, we can do something good.
but you
Um,
always have the consequences of what you do.
right? Exactly. But that's kind of a okay. You're able to do all this stuff, okay? Because basically, in my opinion, all right, my opinion only. You don't. No one has to agree with me. But my opinion is that God gave us free will to do that. Now you're going to be judged for what you do. So He gave you the free will to do what you want. But when you go out and do things that are bad, and you do those and don't repent for those things and don't admit that you're wrong for doing those things, you're going to be punished for that. And you may be punished on this earth for that, or maybe even in heaven for that. I mean, people don't believe in that stuff. That's okay if they don't, but I do, and that's just the way I believe. So, see, for me, it's like I woke up and I found my way to faith because of all the things that are happening in the world. You have to look and see all the amazing things, and then you got to realize how incredible all of it is, and then open your mind completely. So that's what I try to do, is open my mind completely so I could see that there is truly something more powerful, more divine, and more inspiring, and more just incredible than I am, because of what I understand, because of the things I've read, you know, that actually shows it, and it shows it over and over again. And that's what amazes me, because I can sit there and read it over and over again, and it actually is telling me exactly what's happening. It totally relates. It totally applies. It totally intercepts it, every time. So for me, when I read these scriptures, and this is what I'm talking about in this video that I was going to make here, is because it absolutely, absolutely interacts with every other aspect of what I'm saying and ever have said. So if you want to listen to, you want to read, Matthew 7, through, let's see, Matthew 7 through 13, 14, 7 through 21, whatever. It doesn't even matter. That's not even important. It is important, but it's not. You just look at it, read it, listen to what it says, and then apply it to your life and apply it to the world we live in. That's what I want people to do. Because if you can apply those things to what we live in right now, it makes absolute perfect sense. It's so clear. But some people can't make that clarity. They can't understand that that is what it is. But for me, it's so clear. I don't see how anybody can't see it, but people can't, and it's not their fault. It's just that they can't see it. And I pray, that they can. But you understand? I mean, these things are real, and when you start reading that stuff, and you look at what's happening in the world, it's almost undeniable for me personally. So that's just my opinion. I don't expect you to believe what I believe, but when I read that, it absolutely, it's so, I mean, it's so real that it's pretty much undeniable. So what do you think about that as far as reading these words? Because I can read them to you, and if you may not believe what I'm reading to you, but if you listen to what I'm saying and analyze it, I don't see how you would. I don't understand how people can't understand that. That's what I'm trying to get to. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, Tom, and I haven't checked that out yet, so I don't know what you're talking about. I will say that my belief, I try to live my life by one passage, 1 John 4:18, and it talks about fear and what it pertains to and how you're supposed to use fear. And yeah, that's one I would be one thing that I'll be checking out tomorrow. I'd like to go to scripture tomorrow.
Please do, and go to Matthew, go to 7:13 through 14, and read it because it really means something. And a lot of people don't understand these things. I didn't either until I figured out that the whole world's a joke. It's a joke. Everything that everybody's telling you is lies. When it comes to 9/11, when it comes to all the conspiracies, all the false flags. Think about it. Sandy Hook, everything else, it's all a joke. But then when you go and you read something in the Bible, and you're like, wow, it's telling me this right here. And it's unbelievable how it's explaining to you what the heck's happening. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's just a blessing. I feel like I'm blessed. Just didn't know this stuff. So it's one of these things.
That's why you and I are on the same page a lot of the time, because that almost, and I have to go to, it's that blind faith that leads you down the path and of the unknowing that is so incredible, going on that journey into the unknowing. But you're steadfast in the word and you believe, and that's what takes you through. Once again, I go back to the speed bumps and the hurdles, but along the way is when you're blessed and you're able to help other people out. And I was just talking today how you pay your tithing directly to humanity, to where if you haven't paid your tithing in a while, you're gonna get hit with something where it's going to take your time away, and then you're forced to help somebody out, and that stuff happens to everybody. I want to hear what Lynx has to say. Pipe in, dude.
I have to say, my son is extremely strong. He was sitting on a little footstool that rocks back and forth, the glider rocker thing, grabbed a hold of the card table in front of him and pulled and actually moved that whole glider rocker footstool about a full foot, almost a full foot. Just pulling on the card table and moved the whole thing. My boy's strong. Freedom, and I was away for a while, so are we talking what exactly is the what you guys are talking about? I didn't get it all. So I'm a little bit behind here. Okay, so we're talking The Sound of Silence.
Isn't that awesome?
Disturbed did a very good version of it. In fact, it makes you feel a lot of emotion, The Sound of Silence. No, if we're talking belief system, everybody has a right, inalienable right, to believe. They do not have a right to push that belief on other people. In fact, there are some out there who think, and the one of them that says this on a regular basis is a friend of mine. I may not agree with him, but it is his right to say this, that you have a right to believe, but you do not have a right to go banding it about constantly to other people. That, if I don't want to listen to it, I don't have to. Now, freedom of speech allows you to be able to say, I believe this way, I believe this, I believe that, or the toaster oven in my kitchen is my deity. It provides, it makes a firm, crusty defense against all non-believers. I mean, if you want to believe that, you can, and you can tell people about it, but you cannot force others to think the same way you do. That's what it is. Inalienable rights, if you look at it, this is just my opinion. Inalienable rights begin when you take breath. When you are a true living man or woman or child, you have those inalienable rights. Throughout your life, you are either conditioned to give them up or not realize that you have them, or your rights end whenever you impinge on those same rights of someone else. So effectively, if we're going to go for religion-wise, believe what you want. I have no problems with it, but whenever it starts impinging upon what I believe or what I don't believe, and you are telling me, oh, not anybody here, but anybody who's listening, or just, it's a generality. When I'm told what to believe and that my belief system is wrong, then their right just ended because they impinged on my rights. Effectively, that's my opinion. And First Amendment right, freedom of speech. So I'll shut up. Anybody got anything on that one?
No, absolutely. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's their freedom of speech. And there's no reason why I would say to anybody, you have to listen to what I say, because that would be wrong. There's no reason for that. I would never say I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, and everybody's if they don't listen to me, they're blah blah blah. That's not right. But I do like to show people things, and so I just try to plant seeds. All I want to do is get them to understand certain things, and that's my objective, I guess. The Lord gave me to do, is to just try to plant those seeds. so that they can understand these things. Will or cannot understand, or maybe will not understand. So that's my job.
Evidently, Aaron is feeling like he needs reinforcements, so he brought Aaron.
I always just go mobile. I got the laptop going and then I go mobile.
So I mean, really, guys, that's what it's about. It's not about, like I'm telling you what to do or anything like that. It's never like that. Really, it's just about, what the word says to me, and then I'm passing it on. That's all it is. I don't know if you guys understand. I'm not trying to push that. I'm just trying to say.
I comprehend what you're doing. I refuse to stand under. But, that's the thing. And that's why you and I are still talking with each other, Tom. I mean, yes,
Right.
You are very vocal in your belief system and what you believe. But if you look at it, we believe in the Constitution, and we're trying to get that information out to a lot of people. Technically, if I wanted to, I could become an ordained minister of the Constitution. Because there's a website out there that'll make you ordained minister of anything. I could become the ordained minister of the sesame seed garlic bagel. I mean, and it would be legal. I mean,
I think we believe a lot of the same thing. It's just that there's a little bit of difference. That's all.
Right. And you know what, Tom? You live where you live. You deal with things on a regular basis. Even something simple as you wake up in the morning, you get your coffee. I wake up in the morning, I get my coffee. Our coffees are not the same. That changes our viewpoints. We look out the window. Outside here, it's raining. Over there, it's sunny. I mean, the little things like that will change the viewpoint, which will make us individuals with our own thought processes and our own opinions. Now, to anybody that says, my opinion is the absolute right and truth, and yours doesn't matter, those are the people or the individuals that you need to walk away from. And if you can't walk, run. Because those are the ones that will get you in a burning building and somehow convinced you that sacrificing yourself for whatever they believe in is right. And you basically gave up all your inalienable rights right there whenever you start listening to them. But now, crisis times, like 9/11, a lot of men and women went to faith because of that crisis. They went to churches, they went to group meetings, and they felt a need to belong someplace and share the misery, share the outrage, share the depression, share the fear, because doing it alone is scary as hell. I mean, like, okay, just an example for me personally, and I will admit this. I did not fully comprehend what the affidavit was about and everything, and I could have done the affidavit that I was talking about on my show 3 months ago. I could have had it done and up and dealt with 3 months ago, no problem. Actually, more like 6 months ago. But I didn't fully comprehend everything that was in it. Therefore, I didn't fully comprehend what I was saying. And even when I did comprehend, I was still afraid, because this is totally uncharted territory for me, something I never dealt with. I was afraid. But luckily, I had my wife, and she stood beside me, and she learned it with me the best she could. And she is with me on it. Sink or swim, we're together. If I was alone, it could go either way. Either I could have said, I'll do it, or no, I won't do it. Because if I did it, it wouldn't affect anybody else except me. Or no, I don't want to do it because, well, I'm not really having an issue. But I did it because I had those around me that I cared for, and I knew deep down that this was a way to protect them. After I'm gone, they will still have this, the bloodline saying I was talking about, to continue on. And Helen learned it so she can teach Garion if I passed away before I could teach Garion about it, or my other children that will be coming eventually. I mean, it's fear. Fear will make you either freeze up, find a group or an organization that makes you feel safer, or will make you run. It is a fight or flight kind of thing, or freeze. So, sorry, I get off the subject. It's because my brain goes too damn fast.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
No, we definitely
Look,
like hearing. Yeah, I like hearing what Lynx has to say, and yeah, he's got a good story. That's all I've got to say for right now.
Well, you got to think about this, what actually is being said, and then you have to think about other things outside of that. You have to open your mind to things that you normally wouldn't do. You would not open your mind up to this, but that's because people are being indoctrinated, through television shows, cartoons. All the kids in this world are being manipulated into indoctrination. And we have to understand that is really what's going on. So if people want to say that that's not happening, then I think that they pretty much lost their damn minds. Okay. Because really, right now, that is happening. They're being indoctrinated. They're being brainwashed. They're being brought into a world through manipulation and indoctrination. That's what's going on. So you have to. So for me personally, when I look at things like that, I look at other things like, what is the Lord trying to tell me? Okay, and a lot of people don't like that for me to say that, and they don't like for me to say that I actually understand what's going on because I'm reading something that actually tells me what is happening. See, that's what gets people because they haven't read, they're not reading the Bible like I am, and then they're not understanding those things. So that's what is hurtful for people. But when I'm reading what it's saying and it's actually happening, and I'm witnessing the things that it's saying, see, I never thought I was an atheist for all my life up till maybe a couple, 3-4 years ago, whatever it was when I got saved again. I never paid attention to that. But now that I'm actually paying attention, I'm seeing this right in front of my face. And it's like right in my face. So for people that don't believe that and don't understand, when they start reading, if they would read that, they would actually believe it. Because there's no way to deny it. If you read it, it's like I'm reading scripture telling me exactly what's happening. It's telling me about the one world government. It's telling me about the Antichrist. It's telling me everything that's happening, that's coming forth in front of us right now. Everything that's happening, it's telling me. How can I deny that? If I deny that, I'm an idiot. I'm a fool if I deny that. So when people sit up here and say there's no way that's possible, there's no God, there's no, none of that stuff, okay? When Yet I'm looking at scripture, right? That was written 400 years ago that just now came to pass. Years for but what was told is now has happened 400 years later. They didn't know. It just happened. But why? It's exactly what it said. So how do you deny that? How do you put those things out of your mind and say that's not real? I mean, that didn't happen. Well, yes, it did happen. Yes, it is real. Yes, this what 400 years ago they told us, these disciples told us exactly what was going to happen, and now it happened. So how do you? I don't know how any person on this planet can put that out of their mind that it didn't, and that isn't what happened, right? So can anybody explain to me? I don't understand.
I can try to explain just my opinion on it. Well, one, fear. Again, most of the stuff we do out of fear. We may change it in our minds and saying, well, it's just it's out of love or it's out of necessity. But in the end, it's fear, because why do you eat in the morning? Fear of starving. Why do you go to the bathroom? Fear of that uncomfortableness that is building up. I mean, why do you go to work every day and try to get the money? Fear of losing your home, losing the comfort zone that you have. Now, getting with somebody and getting together and wanting to find someone to spend the rest of your life with, that, yes, love is a good strong part of that, but also fear of being alone. Now,
But wait
I
a
mean,
minute.
go ahead.
Why is it that okay? We see all these things. It's right in front of us. So there's no like denying the fact of all these things of prophecy that you see in front of you. And then you can't doubt it. I mean, I guess if you do, then I guess you're just like putting it off. You know what I mean? Like most people do. They don't want to realize the truth, and so they put it off. And that's how I see it. Because most people are just going to put off the truth. They're not going to want to listen. They're not going to want to realize the truth is the truth, and they just put it off. And that's how I see what's happening now. Right now, everybody's like putting off the truth because they want to live in a alternate reality instead of living in real reality. They want to live in a false reality, which is not helping them at all. It's hurting them, but they don't even understand it's hurting them. See, I want to live in a real reality where I know that, hey, this is happening. Geoengineering is happening. They're trying to kill us. The dark side is the ones that are in control. The devil is. Satan is in control.
You want to know why they're willing to live in their little fantasy world compared to the reality? Let me ask you this, Tom. If I manage to somehow come up with proof, actual proof, that the book that you have put so much faith in, this is hypothetical and I'm not attacking you at all, but if I brought to you proof, like original manuscripts, and it said once upon a time at the original, basically proving that it was a storybook to like Grimm's fairy tales, would you stop believing in it?
But you can't do that.
I'm saying hypothetical. I'm not saying actual. I'm saying hypothetical. Would you?
But that's a dumb question.
Right there. See, that is the issue. Why they don't want to believe in the chemtrails. Why they don't want to believe in the in all this other stuff that we are seeing for truth and are actually happening, is because it will take them out of something they've been dealing with and they've put their whole being into. If the cornerstone of your being is shaken, you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't know what you're doing anymore. Somebody who's worked for 30 years at the same job all of a sudden finds out that that job was actually killing children and they didn't realize it.
Yeah.
They would most likely try to ignore that, finish up their work, get in retirement, and then go into therapy once it was unavoidable to be able to focus on. But they knew who they were during those 30 years, and they were unwilling to alter that perception and realize that they're not the good guys, they're the bad guys for the 30 years. That's the thing. It is the core of their being. They have grown up knowing who they are, because that's what mainstream media, and that's what the schools, and that's what the parents and the grandparents and the neighbors have all told them. This is who you are. You grow up, get a high school education, go to college education, go to work, get married, have children. Your children go to school, get a high school degree, go to college, and rinse, repeat, and so on and so forth. That is all that they were told, and their whole life, except maybe, watch football every once in a while, watch basketball, get yourself distracted.
Well, you know you're a slave. I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing. If you admit you're a slave, then you have to start thinking for yourself, and you have to start questioning things. Society nowadays doesn't like to question things
No.
unless if it's within their comfort zone.
right. Well,
That's why.
that's the idea about questioning things that I question, because I use words, scriptures, I use biblical aspects of things that people don't understand. They won't use. Okay. See, I'm bold in it. I will say things that people don't say because they don't like it, because they're afraid of it, because they're afraid of God. Okay. They're afraid of the person that is the actual savior of themselves. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, because people will deny that just to get away from it, because they're scared of what he's going to do, and so they hide from it. That's the same thing as elite are doing right now, hiding from God. That's what they're doing. They want to be able to merge with machines and get away from it, and interject their reality into a machine so that they don't have to face God. Trust me, that's what they're doing.
Well, didn't
So-
Rothschild actually fail in that?
Well,
Yeah.
right, but I'm just saying. So there's no. So here's the thing about that. They're not going to get there. Okay. The only way you personally, this is my opinion. My opinion, not anybody else's. But the only way you're going to get to heaven is through Jesus Christ. You're not going to get there otherwise. And people who think they are, fine, think that way all you want to. But that's not what's going to happen. Okay, in my opinion, and from what I understand, and I've spent a lot of time on this. I spent a lot of time on the Bible. I spent a lot of time on all this stuff, and there's no way you're going to get there, because you have to go through Him to get there. You have to actually submit to Him, which is your Savior, Jesus Christ. If you want to say another name, doesn't matter. Yahshua, doesn't matter. Okay, it's the same thing. He's the only way you're going to get to heaven. You're not going to get saved in any other way. And personally, people try to get there through their works, and it's not your works. It's not what you do here that gets you there. It's your belief. That's all it is. You have to understand that He did what He did to save all humanity from their wicked ways. And because we were given free will, that's where God messed up. he knew you messed up because he gave us free will. You understand?
No, I
He-
comprehend. I comprehend. I refuse to stand under. But I comprehend your viewpoint on that. I really do. And
He
I
accidentally
want to go
messed up and
to
gave us free
Valhalla.
will.
I want to go to Valhalla. You can go to your heaven. I will go to Valhalla. Nice and
No, I'm
simple.
gonna go to
that way.
heaven. Heaven is heaven, dude. But
Now
you
here
know,
you're saying my belief is wrong on that then.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
You said heaven
Do what
is
you want.
heaven. So you were indicating that Valhalla would be heaven too, right?
It would be.
That means
Heaven
that
is heaven.
Valhalla, see, that's where you're actually saying my belief is wrong. I do not believe that heaven, Christian heaven, is the same as Valhalla, because Valhalla, you wench, you feast, you go out and fight. Do you do
Well,
any of that
I
in
don't see-
heaven?
I don't see a real difference between that, and if people think there's a real big difference, that's kind of a stupid judgment.
No,
Well,
I
that's
got to pipe in there for a second because yeah, I believe all pathways end up at the same place. I think we're all gonna, good or bad, we all end up the same place. My beliefs are, I'm not gonna go into it, but we end up there. That's it. We end up there together. We're not worm food, okay? And but I think it's the path getting there is what's more important of a debate than whether or not, you know, we all go our separate ways. And I just don't think the plan is for us all to go to separate ways.
No.
Part of my belief is that you know, like I said, we all, good or bad, we all end up the same place. It just depends on you know, like let's just say the bad side. The bad side, it's what you're re-educated about once you get there, whether or not you're in the presence of God, near God, or you're being retaught the lessons, basically, if that makes sense. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was raised with, the belief, you know, being Mormon. I do believe in that heaven structure, but it doesn't mean that I'm taking everything and running with it. And, you know, yeah, I was raised LDS, and some of it stuck and some of it got flushed out. It hasn't changed my path. It's just only improved it. And believing, you know, links, like I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard anything like this before, but it's definitely intriguing, you know, and that's something we could always talk about. But I just believe we all end up the same place. It's how the presence of God is around you.
It's the Norse mythology, the Viking mythology. That's
Okay.
Valhalla. Now, here's a question for everyone, even those in the chat room, if there is one. I'm not looking. I'm on the iPad. Okay, we comprehend advanced mathematics. We comprehend how dog food is made, how cat food is made. We comprehend the canning process and everything like that, right? What about the dog or cat? They don't comprehend, but they know that as soon as that can is pop, they know food's coming.
Or tuna fish.
Or
Yeah.
tuna fish. All that they can comprehend is that you leave, come back, and you've got these cylinders that are really hard and they can't smell anything out of them. But as soon as you pop that, the smell's right there. The comprehension is the biggest key. Seriously, all these different religions out there, in the end, might be just our way of saying our provider gave us the big metal tube and dumped out our sustenance and we are happy. I mean, that's all that it could be. And in the end, it's, oh yeah, you're just here to have experiences, and when you go back to a cosmic awareness. I mean, some believe that. Some believe in multiple different uh, um, afterlives, or it could be no afterlife. I mean, we believe what we feel most comfortable with. We focus on what makes us be able to handle every day. That is the thing. And it doesn't matter whether you believe in the toaster oven or you believe in the message from a book. What it matters is that you believe and that it feels good to you.
Yeah,
Now-
absolutely agree on that.
Now, if you want to say that it's prophecy, well, there's many out there who have prophesied that never wrote down, but they were 100% right. And then there was others who wrote down, like Nostradamus. He hasn't been completely right all the way through. He's gotten a shot in the dark, and he got it. But at the same time, you know, prophecy or being able to see the future, in my scientific opinion, is just being able to break the fourth wall, the fourth dimension, which is time. If I'm not mistaken, isn't the fourth dimension time?
I believe so, yeah.
And able to see events that are coming. Now, like in the Bible, you got John or Luke or whoever that's talking about flying on dragons or seven-headed dragons. Basically, what if that was a futuristic jet that was shooting lasers? Oh, gee, the lasers were red and look like fire. When they hit, they go boom. And they had a female, like the old bombers, drawn on the side. In his primitive mind, he saw a dragon with a woman riding on it. I mean, it's simple like that could be, or it could be exactly as the book says. We are not the ones that went through it. We did not live through it. So all we got is words, or all we got is what we feel comfortable with. You know, fourth dimension is there. It is true, but it is not as we fully comprehend it. I get what I call reverse deja vu. Years ago, little snippet of something that happened, like a game that never came out, and I'm sitting here talking with Helen or talking with somebody, and I'm playing that game years later that just came out just recently, kind of thing. And all of a sudden, I remember I had a dream about it. Where the hell did I even know that game would have existed? 10 years ago, I would never have known. And I would never have known I was living in this apartment here. I mean, these kind of things. Time, our conscious thoughts is simple compared to what is truly possible. That's just my opinion on it. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying we don't fully comprehend everything. If we did, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we?
Lynx, do you think you've had a glimpse into the fifth dimension?
Fifth dimension,
Rebecca,
I'm
you'd like
trying to think what fifth dimension is. God, do I have to go research it now?
No. I mean, there's no right answer.
I don't even know what
because-
the fifth dimension is considered.
Well, and I believe that it's a way that your conscious mind can travel throughout time.
And dimensions.
If mastering the fourth dimension is kind of mastering your time and your physical, your fifth dimension, like it's been said out there, that there's a fifth dimension chess game going on with the deep state.
It is possible.
It is possible, but that's kind of what I believe with the fifth dimension, and what I feel I've been able to do is travel with your mind into different times and realities, looking forward or looking back to get your information. So like with what Tom is saying, what we've been talking about, you get your feeling from the Bible. You're reading the Bible, you get your feeling about something, and then you almost meditate on it, and you try to put yourself back in that time, in their shoes, or take that word and that advice and you go forward with it. And what are we looking at, down the road with, our current presidency and the things that are going on and the rioting,
Or
and you
just
just
wrap
gotta,
your mind around what you saw,
It's
because it was so
right.
completely like, what the hell?
Right, and that's part of that fifth dimension chess game that I've known about for a while and trying to figure it out for myself. And it really is in our time and day right now, what we're going through, the things that we're experiencing. It's like you do almost become complacent in a sense to where you're like, man, I just want to project ahead a little bit and see what's going on down the road. That way I know how to apply myself in this scenario or something. You get
Or
what I'm
what to
saying?
work towards to help
Yeah.
this type
Yeah.
of outcome. See, I can see
And
that logically. I
well,
can
okay,
see
so
that.
this is exactly what I wanted to bring up during our conversation during this live show. This is what I'm talking about, is you come up with that game plan. So right now we're up against where I believe the three of us could be unindicted co-conspirators.
We are. We've said the word
Okay.
Bundy. We've
Okay,
said where we
okay.
believe in.
Absolutely. So how do we apply our knowledge that we have now to the research to figure out to combat something like that? Because it really is, it really is brainwashing. It is controlled opposition. Look how Facebook and social media are going to be started to be used in the court system. So it's
That
it's like,
I've
how
already
do we
got.
kind of,
I've
you
got my
know,
battle plan already on that.
that's great. See, and
That's what my
that's things where I
affidavit
try to
was
go
about.
forward. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I'm kind of gathering that as we've been talking throughout the night, different couple of different channels and
I realized this is what I realized once I started seeing all this information. Even the Continental judges, listening to Spitfire early on, listening to Laurie Alexander, and I mean, once the Malheur Refuge here happened, it basically made me focus on shoot, darn, dang, whatever you want to say, because this is Tom's and I don't want to cuss on his thing.
I think I did a couple times. Sorry, Tom.
I'm a slave in a corporation that has been acting and making us believe that they are our government, and they're not. In fact, you go back far enough, and we're basically still having strings pulled by the crown. Now, here's the thing. Once I realized that, I wanted to get free of it, but I didn't know if there was a way to get free of it. I researched, I found out, there is a way. You have to prove that you are this and that and this. But then there were so many others out there that were like, well, if you do this, it's okay. If you do that, it's okay. I can tell you exactly how to do this, but you have to pay me $999.99, and I'll show you exactly what you need to do. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know what? You could have so many free individuals out there, but you got to have them pay you. That's not free. That's servitude in a different way. So I got to the point I wanted to see proof. What was the actual facts? What was the actual paperwork, the real laws? And I found it the best that I could so far. A lot of it I still have issues comprehending, but I'm getting better at it. And that's why I did the affidavit, because what I said in the affidavit, I comprehend completely. And I accept that, and I put those at truth. And after that, I know how to respond to, let's say, a court summons. Let's say they want me to re-register to become a voter. I'll be like, excuse me, I do not want to be part of your corporation, so I'm not going to re-register. After the affidavit's through, I'm going to revoke my registration as a registered voter, because I'm not part of the corporation. I should have no say in that corporation. That's the kind of things that I'm doing. And I'm trying to protect as a constitutional family, so that when the time comes, I can stand, not kneel, but I can stand on my values. and I can show my son how to stand on what he believes is right, not go wishy-washy and going after popular vote. I'll shut up there.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely lay it out thick to make people think, and that's good. And to whereas I've, part of my story, it was right when Lavoie was taken from us. I finally kicked in for me, and I'm like, son of a bitch, we really are slaves. To whereas I just wanted to believe that things would get better ever since my enlistment. I got out in 2000, and you get a couple of awakenings from that, but yet you still want to believe and you want to believe. And then as soon as Lavoie was taken from us, I was like, here we go. No way. Really? This is the way it really is? This is going to happen? Holy shit. Hold on. And yeah. And ever since then, it's just, I've been trying to, holy moly, hold down a lot of stuff. It's like all of a sudden you get more stuff piled on you because you're really realizing. Yeah, it seems like the more you know and the more you realize about what's going on around you, the more kind of things get thrown on top of you to kind of keep you held down and back from your true destiny and nature and what you think you really should be doing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Tom, we've kind of hijacked your
Yeah, we
show.
did.
What's up?
Yeah, let us know what you're thinking there, Tom. What's going on? Oh, he's on what do we call that? He's probably in the green room.
He's on the Democrat throne room. I'm not going to say sorry because, like I've stated before, look through the Constitution, look through the Declaration of Independence, look through the Bill of Rights. Where does it say democracy anywhere? Or Democrat?
Yeah, and we still have like Hollywood screaming democracy, and you see these things that come up in the fake news that say democracy, and you know what? I actually, without a little bit, there would be no debate. But now
Right.
it's just gone like way over the top. Like, Lynx, you're not on Facebook, so you don't see the way these groups are, they pop up on your screen, okay, on Facebook. And it happened to me today, and I wish I could, almost do a screen share or something. But it happened to me today. There was a group that was suggested, two groups. One was like, let's smash liberals, and the other one was like, the road should be paved with Republicans. Two different groups. You know what I mean? And both are pretty extreme. So one of the groups, that basically the anti-liberal group that popped up was like 45,000 people, and the liberal group was like 25 or 29,000 people. And it's like, what do we do? Because this great divide is happening, and it's really happening through the fifth dimension, through Facebook, through social media. It really is. There really is a battle, a civil war going on for the mind that we're fighting on a fifth dimension level.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, the divide, you divide and conquer. It's a sound military tactic. You always divide your opposition or the community that you're trying to conquer, and then you go in whenever they're the weakest. And that's where the division
let's
is
put it this
happening.
way. How could 70,000 people not see that?
Because they've done it through generations.
But these like Facebook is like for old people now or something. How did they not see it?
Generations. They were being taught early on This is the way that it is. I mean, effectively, once the government or the federal side of the government, because technically by the Constitution, you, Tom, and I are part of the government. We are the government. We, the people, not we, the elected servants.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people just don't get that, but
But the elected servants, whenever they got complete control over our education, they were able to start dictating what was being there, what was not. Like I've said in the past. And Tom just muted himself. Dude.
I know I saw that. That's pretty incredible when you can mute your own show. I want to do that.
I've done it.
I'm muting because you guys are like going on, and I love it. Just keep going.
No,
Um,
you know, I would do the same thing. Yeah, I would do the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna mute. You guys just go at it. No, this is good. This is
It's
good stuff.
who
You're
invented
really
the light
good
bulb?
job.
My simple question. In school, we are taught who invented the light bulb.
Well,
Edison.
who did Edison? Yeah.
Everybody says Thomas Edison, and it wasn't. The
It wasn't.
original light bulb, which is not the incandescent light bulb we use now, but it is the original light bulb, was, I believe, a Dutch or German scientist. Dutch, my wife says. I can't remember his name. I've researched it multiple times, but the real inventor was Dutch. But
Hey, that makes sense.
Thomas
See, this is
Edison.
how I can mute. This is how I can mute my show. See, because you guys are just going on. You know what I mean?
And we asked you your opinion, and you were evidently on the Democrat throne room.
I was eating chips, man.
Oh, okay.
Eating
But
chips,
effectively,
yeah.
Thomas Edison altered, improved upon the light bulb, and that's the light bulb we use today. But he did not invent it. But that simple lie made us believe that America was so great, we invented something that everybody used.
Okay,
That's
guys, real
how
quick.
they've been. Go ahead.
Real quick. Did we go to the moon? What do you think?
No.
Links. Did we go?
No.
Links.
I personally did not go.
You don't think we
So,
went to the moon?
I personally cannot say a
Okay,
definitive
you know,
yes or no.
See, I like that. That's kind of like the way I am, you know, even with the flat earth stuff, okay? So it's been proven that, well, not proven, but it's definitely capable that photoshopped pictures of the earth being round and colorful, you know, it has been photoshopped to make us believe. See, this is what the opposition's put out, to make us believe that the earth is round. But it's been flat the whole time.
I think they're flat.
Now,
Tom,
how could
Tom, you say you think the earth is flat.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Links.
I say back in the 50s when they supposedly went to the moon, how did they Photoshop?
That was my first thing. I was like, wait a minute, back in the 50s, Photoshop wasn't around, dude.
Okay, and Columbus, supposedly Columbus and all sailors back in those times were believing that it was round because you would see the ship go out in the horizon. If you looked close enough,
Perception.
yeah, perception. Why is there a curve in that perception then if the ground is flat? I mean, that is the stuff we've learned, but it's what we've learned. It is
Okay, hold on.
conditioning.
Hold on. Tom,
Yeah.
this is real quick, okay? I think if the earth was flat, all we would have is lakes. There'd be no running water.
Well, how does the ocean? We have all this ocean. Okay, take a tennis ball.
Yeah, you're supposed to do the light trick behind the tennis ball on the wall, and you're going to see a curve.
Take a tennis ball and spin it. Spin it. What's going to happen? If you take a tennis ball and put it in water, and then you take it out of the water, and then you throw it and you spin it, what's going to happen?
Water's going to go everywhere.
Well, water is going to come from the middle of it,
Yeah.
which will be our equator. Okay? So when you spin that ball, all the water on that tennis ball, if you did in slow motion and you actually videotaped it, would come off the center of the ball. Now, why do we have, okay, there's a lot of questions here.
It's a whole other show, I think.
Listen, if the continents could move, which they have done prior, what all the continents would be on the equator because of the spin, because the Earth's supposed to be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, if it was spinning that fast, it's like spinning a tennis ball. Take a tennis ball, stick it in some water, and then throw it and spin it, and watch what happens. It all comes off the middle of the ball. Okay, the water will reflect and come off of that middle of that ball. Take the Earth. We're supposed to be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're
I
supposed to
understand
be
that.
traveling at what is it? 4,600 miles an hour per second through space. Come on, be realistic here. Okay, that's not realistic.
You're forgetting a variable in that, Tom. You're doing that with gravity that's happening here. Effectively,
But how do you prove gravity? How do you prove that? How do you
Exactly.
prove that there's actual gravity?
seriously, unless I get up on a ship and actually go up and look and turn around and go around to the other side of the planet, whether it is a flat molten surface or it is or whatever, until I do that, I cannot give you definitive proof. No one can.
Yeah,
All they
no
can
one
give
leave.
is
Oh,
theories.
gravity. We don't know that gravity exists. They're saying that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're traveling at.
I think I
4,600
understand
miles an
that.
hour through space. How? I mean, come on.
See, and
Think
I've used the tennis ball where you put the light behind it representing the sun, and then you shine towards a wall and you see a curve. You see the curvature, and that's kind of represents that's Earth is round, dude.
Yeah, but think about think about this. Think about this. Think about the revelation. Okay, like okay, if the sun and the moon are above the Earth and they're rotating around it on different fields, and they actually come inward and outward, which they say, which it says in the Bible, that would actually affect everything. That would explain everything. It would explain the moon. It would explain the when the moon passes the sun. It would explain the eclipse. It would explain everything. If that was factual, it would explain it all. To me, that would explain it all. So, for people to say the sun's rotating around, traveling at all this high speed, and we're moving through the atmosphere at all this speeds that we're not, I don't see that. It doesn't make sense to me. I would more accept the fact that it's spinning above us, not that we're spinning through it and we're traveling at 1,000 miles an hour, because we would notice that as humans. We would notice that. If you're at a higher altitude, say you're living towards the northern part of the globe, let's say, you would be living up there. It would be a slower speed. You'd be traveling at like 700 miles an hour instead of 1,000 miles an hour. Whatever the difference is between the equator and the northern pole, it would be a difference, and so you would be going slower up there as you got. But just like I said about a tennis ball, you take a tennis ball and it's full of water, and you throw it, it's going to spin off the middle. So why isn't all the water in the middle of the Earth then? Or why isn't all the continents on the middle of the equator? If that was true, that's what would happen. So people don't use their brains. See what I'm trying to get to? You understand what I'm saying? If that was the case, that's what would be happening. And it's not what's happening. So there's something wrong with that equation.
Tom, that's why I like hanging out with you, man, because you blow me away. I'm like, what? I'm trying to hang on to all that. What?
I'm just trying to explain to you that if that was the equation, that's what would happen. So if that was the case, all the water would be spitting off the middle of the planet. Okay? Because
Here's a question then, Tom. When you fly straight east all the way, you leave Florida, fly straight east all the way, and you land in Florida, coming from the west, how did you manage to get there if it was flat?
easily. That's simple, dude. Because all the flight patterns are controlled. Everywhere.
Okay.
All right. There was a woman that was giving, that had her water bursted. Okay, and she was coming from South Africa, and she was going to California. They landed her in, and they landed her. They took the quickest path. Okay. Instead of turning her around and going back to there, they just took her to Alaska.
Okay.
If you look on a flat Earth map, that would be the closest straight location to Cape Town.
Then let's
So instead
ask
of turning
another
around,
question. In the Bible, it says, "My love is as wide as east to west."
Mhm.
Now, if it was a flat Earth, then east and west would have a finite amount.
No,
You would
it
all
talks
get
about,
to the full
listen,
east or
there are
full west.
75. Listen, there are 75 examples in the Bible of flat Earth, and I'm not saying I believe in it, and I'm not telling you to believe in it. All I'm telling you is there's 75 examples of flat Earth in biblical record. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying you need to believe in that. I'm not saying I want anybody to believe in that. What I'm saying is, when I read in the Bible, and I read about the pillars of earth, when I read about the four corners of earth, when I read about all those things that I continuously hear over and over in the Bible, which I can read to you today, right out of Scripture.
But where's the
Why?
answer to my question on that? I mean, it's supposed to be infinite, and yet if there is a end to the east and into the west, if you can get to the edge of a flat Earth, then that means that was wrong. That there is not infinite; it is finite.
I'm not really sure. I can't answer your question on that because I don't really have the answer. All I know
Because
is
Who did that finite argument? Was that Nietzsche that did the infinite and finite argument?
see, that's kind of a bogus thing to me. I don't really buy into that stuff. So what I look at is what it's telling me, and I've always looked at that. So I don't really buy all this people stuff. I believe in what it says. So see, that's where it tells. Don't believe in no man. Don't let any man deceive you, because that's what people do. And so when I read it and I look at it and then I go, holy crap, this is really telling me something. You know what I mean? This is really real. And that's for me. So it's not for you.
Yeah, that's where I would have gone fishing a long time ago or gone on a hike.
I'm just bringing out possibilities, not definitive proof or anything. I mean, if you're going to use a book or you're going to use a reference in some way, and that reference has a contradiction to it that is not fully comprehensible to me, I'm going to bring that out. I'm not, I mean, because if you go the way I comprehended it whenever I was going to church and everything, and Sunday school is if you're here in Oregon, east is continually east and it never ends. You just keep going around and around and around. West is the same thing. But if you go north, you hit the North Pole or the tip of the north, and eventually you're going to go south. Therefore, there is an end to it. So if it is a flat earth, then there is an end one way, east and west. If there's not an end, then it goes to, let's say, okay, maybe the north, maybe it's none of it. Maybe it's not flat earth. Maybe it's not a sphere. Maybe it's an inverted tube and we're on the inside and we just can't see the very top, which is, from America, it would be Australia. If we go straight up, we'll actually bypass, we'll go past where the sun's supposed to be, and all of a sudden we're going straight down to Australia. I mean, show me the actual physical evidence of this argument, and I'll start believing one way or the other. Me, I'm looking at, I got land I want up there in a forest. I don't care if the earth is flat or round in order to be able to stake out that land, wait the amount of time, buy that land, and build a home there. That doesn't matter to me.
Well, and that's exactly why these arguments are coming up now versus the free will and flat earth. It's all to distract you from a vision and goal of that.
Well, actually, what it is that the flat earth thing is a distraction. Okay, I believe that to be true, but it may be actually real. Okay, but the point is that they don't want you to have any. They don't want you to have any factual information about anything that's real. So the powers to be will always keep you there, so that you're enslaved. You're never going to be able to, get out of enslavement. Okay. We are in shackles. We are enslaved by these people, and they are putting their shackles on us all day long. They've not stopped doing this. We are slaves, basically, if you want to realize that, but most people don't. We are slaves. We are being enslaved by these people.
Psalms 103-12. I found it. For as high as the heavens are above earth, so great is his loving kindness toward those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. That's it right there. That's saying east and west is completely opposite each other, and they're so far away. Now, if you go north, eventually north and south will meet because you go too far north in a sphere. I mean, that's the kind of thing I was trying to talk, is that one right there. Pretty much, yes, you've got flat earth and you've got round earth, but like I said, that doesn't matter for us in the end, because how is that going to, seriously, I want to ask a full-on serious question. How does that affect our life and liberty as Americans?
It does.
Then why does it matter?
Here's what it does do. It does awaken people to the fact that we've been lied to. See, if you can get people to understand that the government and everybody that has been telling them stuff is lying to them, is lying to them forever, then maybe we can make a change.
But there's documented proof of the United States Incorporated Corporation, when it started, when it took over. And that is a full lie to us, because it proves they've been lying to us. That's a lie that you can prove with documentation. But a lot of people will say, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, or you're crazy, because they don't want to believe. You can't make
they'll say the
them
same
wake
thing
up.
about everything else too.
Exactly. You can't make them wake up. Like my favorite saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But you sure the hell can drown the motherfucker.
Yeah. And see, that's where we're at now, right? So we're like at this position where we know, me and you know that Me, you, and Aaron, and everybody else knows that now. But how do we get past this? How do we fix it? You know what I mean? What do we do? How do we stop all this stuff and create a positive environment for everybody to move forward in? I don't know how we do that right now.
You do what
Trying to
you
figure it out,
feel
but
is right.
right.
What you do these shows. Me, I did as much as I could on my channel when I was doing it. I showed them all the facts that I was able to find. I told them my opinions, and it woke a few people up, I think.
It did.
But I got to the point I realized I could be sitting here every day doing a show on this and getting more and more individuals waking up, but it won't make that big of a difference because some of those individuals that woke up decided to be like the idiot in Matrix, wanted to go back in because they did the reality that they got to see was not what they wanted, and it wasn't peace, love, happiness, flowers, and constant blowjobs or whatever. It was, oh shit, we have to deal with what we want. We have to work for it. We can't just ask the elected servants to give it to us. We have to work for it. Well, that's not going to be any good. Then I won't be able to get my Xbox One. I won't be able to hook up with my friends and have beers constantly every Friday night. I might actually have to be out there in the fields or milking cows early in the morning or whatever. You know, they don't
Work
want
for it.
that.
Yeah.
They want easy. And I want a forge where I'm pounding away at metal and I'm sweating like crazy and getting aches and pains throughout my arms and my back, and I'm getting a burn on my face because of how hot the forge is, because that makes me happy. I'm willing to work for it and create something out of the metal that I go out, dig up, smelt, and then form into what I want it to be. I'm one of the rare breeds out there nowadays. Because most out there are like, oh, I'll just go to Walmart and get that back. Just go get that hoe or that shovel right now. And then I'll be able to do what I want now instead of, going out, getting the metal, smelting it, making sure it's pure, then forming it, then going out, getting a handle, cutting it, and attaching it to that spade I just made. And that's 2 days later. And then I'll dig that hole that I needed or I wanted at that time. They want it now, quick, quick, quick. I'm willing to work for it and plan ahead. Sorry, I get a little bit passionate and I just go off and go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, good.
No, that's awesome, Links, because like I was saying earlier, you should probably check into doing body armor too. It'd be a great set to sell together, and that's part of being free and looking forward to where you can see yourself with that equipment and the tools that it's going to take to achieve that. And life, I think, is really that simple. To be honest, I've been dreaming of an airplane lately. I would really like an airplane, and that's pretty far fetched, but you never know. It could be real one day, and until you have that vision in the first place and work towards it, it's like what my dad was a major poker player. He loved to play poker, and he told me once, he's like, you're never going to get a royal flush if you don't ever play for it. If you're always folding out where you might be close, you're not playing for it. And that kind of makes sense. But yeah, when you say about, you talk about a forge and stuff like that, oh man, I've thought about that too. Being able to make anything really that you might need. And like my grandfather was he fabricated his own tools while he was making cars in Detroit. He was actually making car parts, but to make those parts, you got to keep your equipment going, and sometimes you got to fabricate your own tools just to keep your machinery going.
Yeah.
And we've really stepped away from that. And actually lately, being a guy that doesn't have any money, I've, to rebuild a car, you're gonna probably have to make a tool that you don't have or that isn't available. And we've really gone away from that. And it's amazing what you can do with a welder and a vise. You know, and yeah, like what you say, Link, you know, to be able to work your magic and have those tools to do it is part of the slavery and part of, you know, kind of why we talk, to be able to move forward and get that vision clearer to where, you know, we feel like we're in a good state of our country, to where we feel comfortable moving off the subjects we're talking about and going forward in our life. But that also shows, because how often do we get together to do this? Right? Not often. We're busy. We're busy people trying to go towards that goal and that vision.
Well, Aaron, the reason why I know about building or making the parts or something like that is I grew up in the country. The nearest part store was 45 miles away. And my grandpa, he, like, let's say the baler broke down and there was a part that was needed. My grandpa would wake up in the morning after the baler broke down and been like, okay, all right, I need this part. And he knew his iron pile, his scrap metal pile, I mean, every little bit of it that had been there for like 20 years. And he would go out to that scrap pile, grab a couple different pieces of scrap, go to the acetylene torch, go to the welder, and he would make that part. Instead of spending an hour to go over to town and get that part and come back in an hour and waste all that gas, he just built the part and had the baler working. And then once it was downtime, then next time he was in town, he just picked up the part at that time. Because, yeah, we went to town to get groceries and schedule fuel drops and stuff like that, you know, because we had our own tanks of fuel. I mean, that's what I grew up in. That's probably why I have no problems in making my own stuff.
Yeah, and that's what we need to get back to. And you know what's funny is, basically the liberals are screaming, you know, Trump's gonna set us back 50 years. You know what? Maybe that's not a bad thing. I mean, we'll still have like our advanced thinking to where you can make the tools to make anything work. It's just some things are going to be broke down, and there does need to be a reset in some manner or fashion.
I vote
That's
that
the
we
way I look at
reset politicians first.
Well, and that is pretty much the goal. That is pretty much the goal. You know, you gotta have that reset. Now, I've gone into depth with people about, you know, complete, you know, dissolvement of the government. You know, and we don't want to see that. Us unindicted co-conspirators want the government to work.
We are the government, and as long as we have the say in how the country runs, the government works. But whenever our elected servants decide that they are going to become our masters instead, that's when it doesn't work.
Yeah, and that just gets back to waking one person up at a time. But it's almost like we're in the day and age now to where that's almost too late. We need to kind of there's got to be something besides the power of God and truth and light to wake up masses without a catastrophe happening. And you know what's interesting is I've been looking at doing helping some other people out, starting a powered channel basically, and we're talking about, you know, what our premise could be to start some mass production on information. And it's interesting because we want our product to be peace, love, and healing. And even, you know, our main focus is the big book and the 12-step program. But it's like, you know, destruction and fear sells more, it gets more subscribers. And it's
Also
like, how do we get
selfishness.
over that? Huh?
Selfishness also. I mean, you look at society nowadays, like I think it was in Romeo Must Die, the movie, where they were trying the gang members, a really big crew, was trying to buy out a dock area. And the one that was talking was like, look at these crabs here. Now, if they all worked together, they would have been able to get out of that bucket really quick and easy. But soon as one MFer gets to that edge, all the others reach up, grab, and pull him down. Why are you being a crab pulling us down? Why not just sell your property? That's the thing. I think of that and I realize it's selfishness. You're getting what I want, so I'm going to pull you down so you don't get it before me. But in doing that, I don't get it either, but I'm not going to admit that part of it. I'm just going to, you're getting what I want, so I'm going to make sure you don't. And so whenever you do that power channel, I'm going to just advise you, yes, but let everybody know. This is not about an individual. If they break off, let them break off. Everything shared in that channel is free commons. Nobody has rights to anything that was there in that power channel. Outside the power channel, they can do the copyright and everything they want, but it is a community thing in the channel. Outside the channel, they can be selfish, backstabbing trolls all they want, but inside the channel, they have to work together.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. Toasted Webs helped quite a few people get their channels up and go and turn around, and they backstabbed him faster than hell and started grabbing his stuff. I mean, this is the stuff I see, and so I'm just giving you advice. Don't let the crabs in your channel.
No, that's understandable, and we're not even going to be really doing a channel. It's more like off of YouTube, where it's a .com, possibly 2 live streams going at the same time. We're going to do different meetings as far as AA and other things, the 12 step, the big book. But also frequency healing music and meditation and we've got a good collective together so far to have documentaries or any type of information going at all times, and try to do one live stream once a day or something like that, a new show or something. But and just like with your masks, it's not a goal to make money. It's definitely a goal to make the bills, to pay the bills. And then anything on top goes, and that's the way it should be. Anything over the top gets paid through your tithing, through your community, through your service, through making good things happen. And those have really been shut down. Those avenues, I mean, just recently, within the last couple of days, Google freaking hired 10,000 people in an army to censor, that platform, this platform we're working through. And
well, of course.
And it's happening. It's happening. It's already started today. It seemed like there was a big, unleashing today. Here we are.
Didn't I say, what was it, Tom? Probably about 4 or 5 months ago, we were talking about what's the best way to shut down the whole message, and that is basically shutting down the alternative media completely.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they basically, if they shut down the alternative media, we can't contact each other. We can't help each other. We can't expand on our knowledge by this kind of thing. We can't help others wake up. So we are basically doing like the Underground Railroad, We have to figure out another way to do it sneaky and get those who want to be free of the system out in a different way. We might have to go to Morse code or something like that,
Ham radio.
I mean,
like ham radio, we talk about that.
Yep, I've got mine.
Something we have to maybe think about. But it's really all out there for every aspect of what's going on, because I mean, you don't really realize, you know, how far gone we really are, and what's happening in reality is way beyond what we understand. I can be sitting here going, "Hey, I got everything cool. It's all good. Yeah, my stuff's all checked, you know," but it's not. So people really don't understand that yet. So there's going to be things that happen in the world that they're not going to be thinking about. It's going to affect them. Yeah.
I was trying not to interrupt you.
I like what Diane wrote in our chat. A special joy comes from the seeing of what your hands have accomplished.
Yes. I mean, each time I make a mask, it may look simple, but I still think they're so cool.
Oh, the
So-
first time I'm going to say it again. The first time I saw those, I was like, those things are so cool. It's some
I
cool
need to get
stuff,
you
yeah.
as a advertiser for me, man. Yeah,
Yeah, you know,
if I ever was making enough money, I would be like, you know what? I'll pay you. I'd be like, I'll pay you $5 a month, and just do whenever you do your hot tub Tibetan monkey. You know,
where would you know what? Maybe we could make a character. We need a new
Well, I think it
character.
has to be more than $5 a month. So
well, I was
Well,
saying
and that's what I was telling you earlier, Links, is you almost need to contact a guy like Outlaw Morgan and pitch it to him, and you never know. Without beating on the door, or at least ringing the doorbell, or a nice light knock on the door. Without doing that, you don't go anywhere.
I agree,
Sometimes
but
you
at
gotta
the
kick
same
in those
time,
doors.
he appears to be extremely big. And if I can only make like 10 masks a month,
Yeah. Well, and like I said,
he's
once
gonna have.
you make a few, and like you make up a few and you send them to him, and then he posts them on his website, and that's it. That's a done deal. And that's what I'm saying with my artwork. I finish it, complete it, and then sell it. Commissioning it is pretty tough, but yeah, I mean, you could do it personalized where you kind of know the person or get to know the person a little bit through email, and then you make one for them.
Like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
this is just the
that's a
start.
different product. Oh yeah. No, I'm really stoked for you. I hope you really do well with that. And that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And if you see in your future that you're going to make, use the proceeds to get a forge, yeah, do it. Because it's going to go together,
Well, the only way to fail is to not try.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you hit those hurdles and speed bumps and you crash on your face and you get back up, you shake it off, and you keep going.
Exactly. And when I get the forge, I'll be more interested in making like swords and knives and blades for my plow than making something commercial. Every once in a while, I might make a nice pot made out of iron, not cast iron, because that's a huge process. I researched it. It's a huge process, and I'm not going to be able to do it. But it's the aspect of, I can make a nice pot or something, or a pot set, and be like, okay, now I'm going to go into town, and whoever wants to buy this can buy it, and we'll just trade it, barter. I want to go more to the barter system. What you worked for, or what you have and are willing to get rid of to get what you need, instead of being like, okay, I've got $50,000 in the bank, which is a whole bunch of digital ones and zeros that can be disappeared immediately, or if the bank closes down. Like, okay, this is what I dealt with. Okay, I had a bill to pay. I got Dial-A-Ride, which is like a local bus around here, but they'll come straight to your place, pick you up, and take you for $2 basically anywhere in town. I went to the bank. It was during the winter, and that bank had closed early because corporate decided that it was too snowy, and for the safety of the employees and the patrons, the customers of the bank, that if it was closed, they wouldn't be coming over to the bank and have a chance at getting messed up in the snow. I had a bill that was needed to be paid the next day, and I just got that money, and I was wanting to get it into the bank quickly so that it could go straight to there and it could be paid. I was out of luck because they decided where my money was going, how it was going to be dealt with. You can't do that with a barter system. Sorry, I went to another story. I'm going to just shut up and listen to you guys from now on. I'm taking too much time.
Yeah, you definitely got some interesting stories, Links, and you know, we all wish the best for each other here. That's why we do this. That's why we've gotten together in the past. We just want to see the best come out in each other and get past some of these things that are happening to us and try to warn people and wake them up and you know, it's definitely by example. I might not be the best example, but you know, my path is my path, and at least I've been able to inspire some people along the way, and I think that's what's most important.
Yep.
And then you go fishing.
And go to
Don't go fishing on the West Coast. You're going to have, I think it's radiation poisoning. Yeah. Thanks to Fukushima.
And I know, and I've already kind of dug into that and already figured out that, and I love to go salmon fishing on that Columbia River, and I've already thought about ways that we could. Well, there's no really cleaning up that process. It's more kind of fencing it off. Once again, we're building more fences, and it's almost like you got to build a fence that right down in Astoria, where those radiated fish can't come up into the Columbia too far and contaminate the waters, the headwaters. And what that's going to do is you know, for generations, we're going to see it throughout the generations coming up that river and into the headwaters, and there's not much you can do about that.
Okay, where does the rainfall come from? It's going to be irradiated too.
Yeah, that's true, and you know, I've already kind of succumbed myself to not being able to go back to the Columbia River to go fishing. So what I'm going to be trying to do is fish the higher elevation lakes and streams, and just try to document the effects. And that's all we can do. And that's I've told Tom and you this before. You know, we really have to get, you know, vigilant and document our history, because we're going to see things, you know, in this lifetime, and especially right now, that are important. And especially with, you know, Tom, you know this, you guys know this, that how they're trying to shape and change our history and rewrite it by, you know, computers and the whole agenda, you know, to get people to stay asleep, basically, you know, and documenting our history, what we see, is going to be important. But I'm hoping, you know, and with what you guys said about the rain and stuff like that affecting too, you know, I think just keeping a good eye out and help educate people when I'm out, and that's what I've already done. Wherever I go, it seems like I'm picking up fishing line and helping educate people on how to sustain, you know, some of our beautiful lands that we've got here in this country, and that's what's most important to me. Is helping people see what the wake they leave behind, and that keeps me, you know, I don't try to focus on that, but I mean, just like with creating 3 felonies a day as an American. You know, people don't realize that. People don't realize what the wake they leave behind them. But there's gentle and peaceful ways to, you know, and sometimes you gotta hit above the belt first, and you know, hey, dude, pick that cigarette butt up or something like that, you know, and the way you say it, because you have a love for the earth and where we're at and nature. That's
I
most
say
important.
forget about smoking. Go to vapors. Vapes are fun. They're great. And I've been over a year and a half, no cigarette.
And that's good. Yeah, for me, it's I can't keep the thing running. I've tried. They always break on me. And I haven't been able to get the money together to buy, you know, I bought my first vape was almost $100, right around $100, and that was a stretch for me.
Well, you know, each has their own path, and
Sure.
you know the cigarette butts. Yeah, I see it, especially after even while I was a smoker, I saw it and I was like,
Yep.
what the hell?
Yeah.
But now I'm sitting here going, oh my God, it's even worse because not only do I smell it, because an ex-smoker can smell the smoke way more. But also I realized that this is just stupidity. I mean, whenever I was smoking and I was over at my in-laws' house, I would always put out the cigarette, pick up the butt, and put it in my back pocket, so that they at their place would never have to deal with it. I'd always walk outside, go far enough away from the house to make sure that while I was smoking, nobody had to deal with the smoke. I was what was considered a considerate smoker. I'm a rare few because most of the smokers out there think, oh, well, I'm smoking, I have a right to because it's out in the open. And if you don't want to, then walk around me the long way. They're okay. My wife just said the key word that I was trying to think for a while. Today's society thinks they're entitled.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute. That's an absolute agree. There is a lot of entitlement going on and demands, and through that it gets physical.
Yeah,
See,
what
and
about
you
that
even
stick
see it.
guy?
Yeah, you know, and he's. Did you see the footage of him where I think that was in Lake Oswego?
I
that-
watched the
Or
Outlaw
no,
Morgan thing
that was
about it.
either the. Oh, okay.
Berkeley, I think it was, or somewhere
That was
around there.
at Berkeley. Yeah, there was another incident recently in Lake Oswego. But anyways, yeah, now people are gearing up to go to a rally, and they're not even peaceful protests anymore.
No, because they feel entitled that no matter what, their opinion matters and that everybody else needs to bow down to their opinion, which is bull. I mean, I flat out, how many times, guys, both of you, how many times in any of my shows did I say, I'll give you the information, you go out and research it, and if you can prove me wrong, let me know.
Yeah,
But I want you to research it and not just take my word for it.
yeah, and that's what definitely the indoctrination through the education system has been doing. To keep you anything to distract you away from really researching the truth. It seems like, and
Yeah.
you know, our generation, we noticed that in school a lot, and it was just being developed when we were in grade school, Links, because we're about the same age. And you know, in my belief, it all started around binary code, because we are like the first generation, our age were the first ones to be taught that binary code. Other generations like prior, like Tom, he may have heard about binary code and dipped into it, but our generation, we're the ones actually using it to make the first programs, some of the first programs, and that was like curriculum in school, and
But also, binary code was awful, in my opinion, for a simple reason. It showed you 1 or 0, black or white, no gray,
Yeah.
my way, your way, or
Yeah.
my right way and my wrong way. It did not give you a chance to be flexible. It said this or that. In effect, yeah, I can see it with computer programming, but just that mentality of yes or no, there is no middle ground, kind of caused a big division right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like what I studied, our generation is what they started tracking. You get a few different tracks that you're set upon during your high school and your middle school. Well, it starts in grade school, really. But and that was, like you said, the division, the starting of it. Obviously back in Tom's time when he was in like middle school and grade school, there were obviously different methods used or different problems as far as racial division would go. But that's something that I'd like to hear from Tom, like what he experienced, and that's why I like these think tanks. We can all kind of, put our stories together and come up with that collaborate, almost what's gonna take place in the future.
Yeah, I want to hear from Tom what it was like to deal with dinosaurs riding to school. Come on, Tom.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs. Yeah. No, it was. When I went to school, I had to deal with that with people and other kids that did not think like I did, and that's what it is. What that comes down to is they thought differently than I did, and I seemed to be the outcast for some reason. I was the outsider because I didn't believe in their regular, normal indoctrination, really. And so I thought differently. But, I didn't want to be indoctrinated. And I always talked about that even then. And how many years is it later, I'm, it's, shit, 30 years later, I'm still saying the same thing that I said before. I don't want to be indoctrinated by the school system or anybody telling me that this is what I have to believe. It just kind of it works out that way. No, cats, dogs. What are you doing? Hold on a second. See? No.
Well, like he was saying, the outcast. I mean, it's usually the outcast or those who don't fit into a close-knit group that realizes the fallacies of society today. Ones that are willing to basically look at the box and tell it to screw off. I'm trying to keep my language down. Basically tell it to screw off or bugger off. And we want to think outside the box. We're not willing to put ourselves into a box and be confined by rigid rules and rigid thought processes. We want to actually think for ourselves and not be told what to think. Those are the outcasts. Those are those that actually make a difference in this world. We are not the automatons. That's proven it right here. We are talking over really deep stuff. And we're not automatons. We are actually thinking for ourselves and going like, okay, I respect your view. My view's different, but I can see where you're coming from. Automatons are like, does not compute. I was not told this in high school, so it does not exist. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Well, the high school for me was like a joke. And grade school and all the rest of it was a joke to me. Because you're not telling me some stupid shit you're trying to tell me. I'm not going to be indoctrinated by you. and I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I understand. I know, and so that's what it was for me. I'm not gonna listen to your garbage, and I always felt that way. Now, how do I get from where I am now to where I am today, or whatever? You know, how, how do I understand these things now versus then? Because I did not accept. See, I've never accepted their reality. I never accepted their way of thinking. I don't. I still don't. And I never will. The indoctrination of our peoples, our children, are being is incredible because they're indoctrinating everybody into this world that they want us to live in, where
And
we
the indoctrination sticks. Let's an example of the indoctrination. Most of the populace are so used to be indoctrinated that when they're told something, they believe it. If it came from a credible source like the CDC or Big Pharma or their doctor who th're supposed to trust, like let's say vaccinations.
shots.
And that's the thing. CDC just released. I saw a little article about it that they now discovered that the mercury in the light mercury or whatever it's called, whatever that crap is called, thimerosal. The thimerosal is actually leaves mercury in longer than they originally predicted. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that just proves right there that they've been lying to you. But they even brought out the documentation and to say, yeah, we're sorry, we didn't know this, which I think is bullshit. But I'll take it at face
They
value.
knew it.
Okay,
They knew it.
but how
They
many
knew it.
how many individuals out there that are just getting children or flu shots that are still going in there and going, well, it's got thimerosal. Okay, it's safe. Even though they've seen the documentation that CDC say, yeah, the mercury stays in your system a lot longer than we said.
Of course.
The indoctrination is everything to a slave mind.
Right, sure. Well, we are there. We are there. Absolutely there. But I don't know. I'm getting ready to go to bed. My personal stuff. But you know what? It's very true. All this stuff is factual, like the indoctrination, the shots, the everything else. So people need to wake up and they need to realize that, hey, they're poisoning us. They're trying to kill us. That's what they're doing. Don't you realize that?
Now, here's something to think about. Just something small and simple. In the publication that you believe in, Tom, Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, did he go out and start telling people, this is the way, go do this and go do that? Did he go into all these other places and said, you have to listen to me? Or did he let them come to him?
No, he didn't go out and do that like that. People came to him. Sure.
Exactly. And I think that is the way we have to start looking at it. Those who are so comfortable with being slaves that they are willing to put the noose around their own neck and their children's necks, let them do it. Because that is their free will. We can't wake them up. But those who start questioning, let's give them an avenue. Okay, you're questioning. What do you want to know about? All right, this is the facts I know. Now, do you still want to question, or you want to go back over to the headsman's block? Oh, you still want to question? Okay, well, here's some more information. I mean, yeah, we're doing great on getting this information out, but in a way, I'm thinking that we're trying to pound it into their heads and wake people up whenever they're peacefully sleeping. They don't want to wake up because when they wake up, it's reality and it's scary, and they just don't want it. So let's, the ones who are starting to wake up, let them come to us. We just bring out the information let it be known. And if they want to learn it, let them learn it. Let their lives become more involved than the same old, same old. Let them actually see reality for what it is instead of the fantasy land. If they want it, we can't make them do anything.
No, we can't.
So let them come to us. Let us be our own patriotic prophets.
It's about the only way you can do anything is to just be patriotic. You tell the truth. See, telling the truth is the biggest thing, not lying. That's the thing. Don't lie. No matter what you do, don't tell lies, because that's an evil thing. You're going to be judged for that if you do. If you go around telling lies, I'm not going to. And so
Well,
I'm just going to tell you, hey,
that's
look, this is the real deal.
and if you're wrong on something that you thought was true before, but proof came up, then admit it. Let them know. Okay, I was wrong on this, guys. Sorry about it. I've done it on my videos.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. If I'm wrong, I'll say the same thing. I was wrong. Trust me that I wasn't right about that. See, I'll admit to that. Like if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But so most people don't do that. They just want to get something out of it. They don't care about being wrong or right, and actually going, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and saying they are. Everyone wants to be right all the time. They're not. No one's right all the time. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. Right. I think I'm right, but that doesn't mean I'm right. Like with everything that's going on, I could be wrong, and so maybe I'm wrong, and then God will say, "Oh, yeah, you're wrong."
I am never wrong. I am just less right.
So that's the kind of thing about it.
Now, I
could,
just
I
let
could
you.
be wrong, but I don't think that I'm wrong. But I could be wrong, right? And I'm not telling you to believe what I say. I never have said that. So
No, you
you know,
haven't. But
you
you
don't
do
think
need
you.
to sleep. So I will shut up and let you guys close the show down. It's been wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I love being able to have intelligent conversation because my wife's extremely intelligent. And the thing is, I've talked to her for years, and I'm starting to get bored. So I enjoy having intelligent conversations with others. So thank you, and I'll bid everybody good night. Hopefully, I've offended, disturbed, shooken people, individuals, men or women, through this video and my side of it. Hopefully, I have changed somebody's view or made them open their mind a bit. That's all we can ever hope for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will shut up now.
Absolutely.
Hey, Links. Yeah.
And I want to thank both of you for being on here, and you guys are awesome people, and I really respect both of you. So, thank you for coming on here, with me. My stupid ass, it's about ready to go to bed, and but I appreciate it because people can't see that, and so now we're starting to think like, all right, here we go. We can see all this, and we can like come together and not be stupid about it. I don't want to because people go, my religion or this or that. It's not about that. It's bigger than that. It's about us as human beings, man. It doesn't matter about any of that stuff. That's what I want people to realize. They haven't realized that yet. It's not about our religions, our faith, what we think, with God or whatever, which is important. But think about beyond that. If I can help my brother out, I'll be there, So it's just it's amazing. I want to appreciate. I thank everybody. Aaron, thank you. Lynch, thank you for coming on, man. And
Right on, Tom. Yeah, good to do this with you. It's been a minute.
I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, before we take off, let's give a shout out to our brother and sister, Becky and Mike. We hope they're doing good. Hope you get to listen to this. Those two have been our inspiration and our people along the way. And yeah, just let's send out some prayers to people that are either hurting or got stuff going on with you that, you know, that is mentally anguishing, or yeah, doing what we do is not easy, and you definitely get attacked for it.
Definitely do. No matter what you say, you do. And yeah, those the Becky and everybody like that gets attacked. Now they're going to because they're doing that work.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand what type of work it is, and now is the time to be doing it, and just kind of pass the torch back and forth between each other, and you kind of keep going forward and spreading the good word.
Absolutely. I think that's what we're doing now, and that's one
Yeah.
thing. So there's things about that. It's like, with you, you're a brother. I feel like you're a brother, to me, you're a brother of mine. And I know it sounds weird, but
It does to other people. No, not me, because that's the way I am. I like calling kin basically brothers and sisters. We really are all brothers and sisters in this fight together, and
that's what I
wow,
see.
you guys have really left me speechless tonight too. You links going back and forth has kept me quiet and observant,
Well, I
which is
think
good.
we need to love each other, and we need to understand that we are together, and everything else coming out of this at the end of this, we need to fight because it's definitely evil. It's definitely a bad thing. So we're kind of working together here. Everything I talk to you about, or you talk to me about, or we're brothers here, and we need to stay that way. Things, same thing. We gotta stay that way. We gotta stay brothers. We gotta stay working together. You know, and with his family and stuff. Look at that. I care about that. I care about his family. I care about his child. I care about, that's the thing. So we have to move on. We're not going to move on by ourselves. We're going to move on together.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm gonna drop out.
All right.
This was awesome. We'll do it again soon.
Love you. Thank you for being on. And like I said, love you. And we'll talk to you soon. Really mean that you're a good dude. And I know that for the fact. So let's just end with that. And we'll talk soon. And stay straight. Fly right. How do we say that?